beginning with the context of the moment that abstract expressionism was born, as this is the way to truly understand the visual qualities and themes of the movement itself. It took place after World War II in the 40s and 50s, and this was a period where there had been lots of associations between art and the state, due to the enmeshment of art with propaganda during the recent wars. There was also this held idea that art had an inherent order to it. In America at this time, there was an influx of immigrants from Europe looking for a new life of freedom, and New York became this haven for artistic expression. There was a rebellion of art for art's sake rather than for a message, and a desire to elicit freedom promised by the new world in the art itself. These immigrants embraced the art that was banned in totalitarian Europe, namely modern art, especially surrealism and cubism. The artists studied these ideas and performed them on a large scale, influenced by the scale of Mexican muralism, which was influential at this time also. The abstract expressionists themselves were not a formal group. In fact, they had a desire to break away from formal subjects and techniques, as it was this that mostly united them. It was a very individualistic desire to show the unique personality of the artist, their psyche and their emotions through artistic expression and medium specificity, disrupting ways of seeing. They were a ragtag group of hard-drinking, self-destructive gossips who often fought, and between them wrestled a brave new style from the influences of European art. So what about the themes and the content of their work? Well, they followed an interest in Carl Jung, and they often included the subconscious and the expression of the individual artist's psyche. Like the German expressionists, they also aimed to express emotion, but in a non-representational way, focusing more on the act of painting as a way to do this. While they still wanted the picture plane to be apparent, there was a shift away from what was represented to how it was represented. The rhythm of the line, mass, space, light, shade, and colour became the emotional element of the design, and the expectation of content became intellectual rather than representational. However, it is important to note that figuration didn't completely go absent, just it became more gestural, as you can see in this work by Kooning. What could the viewer expect in abstract expressionist paintings then? Just as you see me experimenting here, there were large canvases, bold colours and dynamic brushwork. There were two main types of abstract expressionist painting. The so-called action painters, as you see here, who attacked their canvases with expressive brushstrokes that could continue beyond the picture plane indefinitely as a type of wallpaper pattern. And also the colour field painters, who filled their canvases with large areas of a single colour, as you can see in this work by Rothko. As one of the artists, Clifford Still, said, "I never wanted colour to be colour. I never wanted texture to be texture or images to become shapes. I wanted them all to fuse together into a living spirit." As you can see in the video here, the mode of creation or the process of making was part of the work itself. Spontaneous, automatic or subconscious creation really was emphasised, and the canvas was no longer a space but an arena where the artists engaged. There was a strong focus on the materiality of paint, texture, movement, and exaggerated brushstrokes. They were influenced by the work of Kandinsky, and the act of painting almost became a religious or spiritual experience, and there was a desire for the viewer to experience the same religious experience the artists had when they painted them. In his essay Early Abstract Expressionism and Surrealism, Arthur Hobbes simplifies the artist's process into 3 steps. There was scribbling or doodling to coax the mind to release its sub, pre, or unconscious elements, reflecting on these improvisations to see what kind of structures they suggested, and ordering all the elements into a composition that takes into consideration these structures and builds on them. In the works of Jackson Pollock and the action painters, however, as you can see here, there was more of a spontaneous movement to it, drawing in the air that took place, and also move away from more traditional tools and methods towards experimentation and intuition. As Pollock said, "I continue to get further away from the usual painter's tools such as easel, palette, brushes. I prefer sticks, trowels, knives and dripping fluid paint, or heavy impasto with sand, broken glass and other foreign material added." Monumental in scale, large in feeling, the final works often prevented the viewer from establishing a sense of fore, middle and background. As artist Barnett Newman said, I hope that my painting has the impact of giving someone, as it did me, the feeling of his own totality, of his own separateness, of his own individuality. Well, I don't know about you, but I certainly feel it does for me. Back to you in the studio, Catherine.